All right, we'll get started here. Thank you everybody for joining today. We'll start with opening comments from Coach Bohannon and then open it up for questions.
All right. Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate it. Who'd have thought we would be getting ready for a game on spring break? There's a first for you. As we talked a little bit about coming out of the first game, I think football teams make their greatest improvement from game one to game two. Obviously, we have a ton of work to do, and we've been working on that and got some good work in last week. Had a decent practice yesterday as we move forward for our first conference game of the spring season. I think the word right now for us is urgency, and everything we do, from a meeting to practice to whatever it might be, we got to have urgency about everything we do as we get ready for this game. There's zero margin for error right now. Going into the Charleston Southern game on Saturday, who's returning majority of their offense. Their quarterback's a really good player. He makes a ton of plays with his feet, but when he's scrambling, he looks down the field, he finds open guys. He really does a lot of really good things for them. And like I said, majority of their offense is back. Their backs are good. They got good receivers. I think they returned 4 or 5 of the starters up front. So, and then really in the second half of our last game with them, they were able to move the ball and hit some big plays on us. We got to get ready to go defensively. They got about half their starters back. Got a sound scheme. They know what they're doing. When you look at the game from 19, other than a few big plays, we really didn't move the ball. We were pretty stagnant, and they had a good plan. So we got our work cut out for us. I think first and foremost, it starts with us getting better at what we do. And we know we're going to have to go play our best game against Charleston Southern on Saturday. So at this point, I open the floor for questions.
Hey, Coach. It looks like Sean Brown has moved into the starting lineup on the offensive line. Was that something he outplayed Zion, or has Zion got a little issue going on?
I think it's a combination of things. I think we're trying to motivate some young men to be the best version of themselves they can be. And Sean did that, and he outplayed him. Sean's banged up right now. So I'm, going into the game, I'm not sure where that's going to unfold, but he earned that job by the way he practiced. And again, with a lot of our guys right now, John, every day is you got to go battle for your job every day right now. We're trying to create competition and stay away from complacency. And so you got to go battle every day, and that's where it's at right now. But Sean did. Sean's a little banged up right now. I don't know what that's going to look like for Saturday for him.
Was the opener with Shorter, was that kind of the perfect situation where you got the win, but there were a lot of things that you were able to address in practice that maybe opened a few eyes?
I hope so. I mean, you talk about things in practice, you go over them, you try to correct them. And I think sometimes with coaches, you get to a point after, 60 some odd practices, it's in one ear and out the other. And sometimes you need something on a Saturday on tape to show that, hey, we can't do this. This is not going to work. So hopefully that's the case. I don't know that I ever call that the perfect scenario, because my standards are not that when you go out on a Saturday. But I think this football team needed that for where we were. There was no question about that. We needed it. And I hope it resonates, and we've attacked it here in the last week, and we'll see what it looks like on Saturday.
Is there a benefit that they are opening their season this week? They've had a chance to watch one game with you, and you haven't seen what they're doing?
I don't know. I mean, I think you could go with that in a lot of different angles. I think that at the end of the day, they're going to do what they do, and we're going to do what we do, because that's just, at this point in time, that's it. I mean, I'm sure there's, obviously there's always game plan involved, but you're going to go back to home base and do what you do best, especially going into game one. And for us, we got to get so much better at what we're doing. So There could be a lot of theories on that. I mean, coming off a long layoff, for 400 some odd days, you could look at that. You could look at having a game under your belt. It's a lot of different angles. I think at the end of the day, who can be, dialed in and focused on the task at hand for a period of time, and execute the things they're trying to do at a high level is really what it amounts to.
Coach, when you guys went back and looked at the tape on Shorter, what were the positives that stood out?
I thought, I think defensively we settled down a little bit after they held the ball for the whole quarter. And as we moved forward, we were able to create some negative plays, which I thought was a positive. I think there might have been 6 tackle for loss. There were some, we created some turnovers, things you're going to have to do to win ball games. I thought that was a positive after it really started out really poorly. But I thought that was a positive. We didn't have for not playing in a long time, and I'm reaching right now because you asked for some positives. We didn't have a ton of penalties. Now we did have some critical ones, but we didn't have a ton. Now we'll probably have 15 of them Saturday just because I said that. But I would say on a positive end, that would be a positive going into that game because that was something you'd be concerned about, just being dialed in and focused on what we're doing. So I think those are a couple of things right off the top of my head that were positive. And those are things you can build on. There's just so many things that have to be better, for us to continue moving forward. It's just and I think our kids understand that, and they got to go out and embrace practice in order for that to get better. And I think that's the challenge for us right now.
On that other hand, you said you were stretching for things. How much attention was paid to ball security over the last week plus? Well,
honestly, it's every day is the same amount of attention. Now you wouldn't know that watching the game, but now the urgency. So here's the difference: we work on it every day, but now you got it on tape. The urgency, and here's the word for our football team. I told them we practiced Tuesday after the game. It's urgency. We don't have enough urgency about anything we do, whether it's going to a meeting, whether it's going to practice, about a rep in ball security, about a rep in the tackling circuit, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. We don't have enough urgency. So we do these things all the time. Well, they showed up on tape. So now the urgency's got to change. So I think that's really where it's at. It's not that we didn't, we work on it every day. Like that's the first thing we do every day. And then it's emphasized throughout practice. But I think the urgency is where it's got to be different. It's got to be, when it's the old drastic consequence that happened. Now you got to go fix it.
Hey, Coach, could you just comment about the return of Isaac Foster?
Yeah, it was really good to have him back. I know he's excited to be back playing. I think, actually he blocked really fairly well, and that's really not one of his strengths, but he actually blocked fairly well in the game. But it's just good to have him back. I think all of them, including Isaac, would tell you just trying to get back adjusted to playing and practicing and everything that goes with it. Even more so for him than for our team. Our team's had a huge layoff, and he's had even more when you go all the way back to PC, of 19. So it's great to have him back. He's a great worker, and I think, I think he's going to keep getting better every week. Just getting back and playing the game for all of us is a positive thing. So it's good to have him back.
Coach, Charleston Southern's got a couple of big-time defensive linemen. You said that last time you guys met up, they were a challenge, and now they've got two all-conference guys that are going to be setting up to stop you. What makes these guys so good on the defensive line?
Well, I think they got a good plan, and they don't they know who they are, they know what they want to do, and they do a good job with it. I mean, you know, you know, that's the bottom line. And they got good players, and they understand what they're trying to get accomplished. You know, and they created some things, you know, that made it tough on us in 19 that we gotta do a better job of trying to execute what we do. We had a lot of self-inflicted wounds as well. You know, when you go back and look at the game, but they created some of that. So, but they do a nice job. They understand who they are and what they do. And, you know, it's going to be a challenge for us to get going. That's for sure.
All right. Anything else for Coach? All right, Coach. Thanks for your time today. Good luck.
All right. Thank y'all.
All right. I think that's everybody.
Okay. Coach, how we doing?
I'm good, Nolan.
Good. All right. Coach, thanks for joining us on the pregame show today, presented by Ingles, as we get set for Kennesaw State and Charleston Southern here from Fifth Third Bank Stadium. And Coach, you spoke about after the game against Shorter, there's some things that you want to go back and fix with this team that you saw on the field Saturday. In the past week.
Nolan, hold on one second. I'm going to end this and